no attention to it whatsoever.
I think we're probably gonna be sitting like this, aren't we? Kind of on the floor.
And actually, I don't. No, we're gonna go like this. We're gonna turn it towards the altar because I don't want the screen on me. All right, I'm gonna go pee. Turn these.
I just need to respond to a colleague.
Oh, sure. Let's see where. Ooh, I know what I want to do. So glad I made Brian vacuum yesterday.
I can't sit on the floor. It's fucking me up.
He doesn't like sitting on the floor.
No, it's just we hadn't vacuumed in a while, and I was grossed out. So we've been on a once a month cycle, like right before we have our gatherings. You know, I really want 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks.
Okay.
We don't have a dog or anything. She was
Okay. Now I can devote fully.
So, well, no. First, can we take 3 deep breaths? Just take deep breaths.
Here we are, new moon,
Mm-hmm.
March 10th.
Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely open to the question you'd asked before about there was some aspect of my neurodivergent journey, or if you want to talk about the new moon or whatever, I'm cool. Let's just flow. Like what pops for you?
Yeah, calling in. There's a lot of space that's been opened. I think, like in the last bit in my life, and I feel like it's really easy to, since the society we live in is all about like filling the hole, that we aren't. There's really no blueprint of sitting with the emptiness, or actually that doesn't feel accurate either. We have to remember the most nourishing way to sit with Nothingness, which can mean possibility, which could mean.
And I think one of the big keys, since we maybe very few of us had learned growing up or whatever, had learned kind of emotional regulation skills or
Mine was chocolate. What's yours? I would lock myself in the pantry. And chocolate. I still do that. Not the locking me in part.
No, there was a point I was going for.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
You.
Okay. So I think so the only reason I'm saying how old I am is because I feel like it gives context to how much culture I've lived with. So I'm 51. I'll be 52 this year. And the culture I grew up in, my parents were young, on the young side. My mom had me at 19. Never met my dad, my biological father. And the man who was, in my father role was also in his mid 20s or something when we moved from Maui to Alaska under duress, under extreme duress.
How old are you?
I'm 51.
How old were you at that time?
Oh, 5.
Mm-hmm.
So, part of why I understand that they were pretty extraordinarily destabilized and disordered, or I don't even like the word disordered. They had grown up, their parents had been of the more of a war generation and more of they did not have words for their feelings, or they didn't know how to access them. And, they spoke with their fists and their extraordinarily deep shadow, around sexuality or any of it. Just they grew up in extremely deep, dark shadow. And so them doing the very best that they could with what they had at the time, which was not even being all that conscious of themselves, and fear around what was considered mental health, and we don't talk about politics or family secrets or religion or whatever, that kind of shit that's been going on a long time. So, them doing the best that they could was still pretty fucking hard. And I've been everything that you've said so far, like really is something that's been very present for me. And so, like it's fair to recognize that I grew up where, that my dad's anger was directed at me. His swearing and his name calling and that kind of stuff was directed at me. And now, because unfortunately we've had now a couple of generations of like, when it became very visible was the time when it's kind of became, everybody gets a ribbon, that participation ribbon. There's no competition. There's no like, I don't know, just like this real curating of children's experience so that they don't learn how to navigate challenge. They don't learn how to play in a way that moves their body and initiates their imagination. Mm-hmm. And they think, well, I'm so very entitled. I get everything that I need and want because I've never wanted for anything. And so now we have a couple generations of people who have only experienced that. And since it keeps getting like more entrenched and there's fewer and fewer people who remember anything from before that, there's just it's extraordinarily important that those of us who either can remember, because there was a period in our lives where we actually knew this thing, or are open to the wisdom and knowledge and the natural innate self to coming through, then we can model that. And I know that there was a specific point, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm just following. But I feel like that's a part of why we're such in a stuck place is because so many folks now have never known anything except for capitalism and the commodity making of every aspect of life. Like we even pay people to watch our kids now, like after school, or a lot of people do, when it used to be like a neighbor thing and they took turns, And so like even something as simple as that has become a you have to pay for it thing, and you can't ask people for that kind of help. And you know, people like back in not really that long ago, but when we paid attention to these sort of things, you know, if you saw a neighbor that you're like, I always see her out, you know, doing her bulbs in the spring, and I haven't seen her yet, and it's getting kind of late, you know, that's you go check on that person, you know, because you know what their habits and routines are or whatever, you know, like some signs like, okay, if you're the outside of your home is starting to go downhill, then something that's a very external sign that something's going awry. And this whole like, well, we can't butt in, don't butt in, has, you know, created this situation where now people feel so isolated and alone because they are.
And then there's ridiculous things like cities and neighborhoods and states that don't have Good Samaritan laws. You can actually, your care, it's so fucked up. Like, it's so like your care is being like, I don't know. Like,
everything has become a transaction.
And you can perish. You went to go do a good thing, and then like you didn't make it better. And like, unless there's a Good Samaritan law, you could cause harm or speak.
And that also assumes that everything that's difficult to navigate is something that has to be avoided.
Or outsourced.
Right, yeah, outsourced or avoided. Or yeah, God forbid we actually like feel some really hard feelings after something really hard has happened. Like, without that, then I mean, I think people's physical selves are so gunked up with, you know, having been never learned how to regulate, just so, well, we don't speak that way in our house, so you go to your room and think about what you've done, but I'm not going to teach you anything about how to handle that or to co-regulate or, you know, check in with you later and be like, are you ready to be a good kid? What the fuck is a good, you know? So
the tools weren't provided.
No one knew. You can't be mad at you can't really be mad at someone for not knowing what they, you know, didn't know they didn't know. But what I am mad at, and there's a part of me that comes out as Grandma Ada. Ada's my middle name. Grandma Ada has been coming out this morning. I recorded a lot of it because she needed to get it out. Is pissed at the older generations, the folks or the folks who have grown up in small communities and do know what it looks and feels like to keep an eye on each other and take care of each other. And then if you don't, like there are now such easy access to incredible resources, like a show about these folks in Alaska that still live a subsistence lifestyle and can model for you this. My family got a moose. This family over here has fish. We're going to trade it. Oh, we still have a bunch of moose, and uncle over here can't hunt anymore. So we take care of him, get some meat in his freezer. And, you know, I mean, it's not a commodity. It's not, money's not involved in every single goddamn thing. And since there are so many people who have never experienced it, they get so stuck when I try to talk about divine compensation, or I try to talk about how I live an extraordinarily abundant life without a lot of cash. Like, I don't make a lot of cash, but I make what I need to pay my bills. And yet I live literally in mansions for periods of time because I'm a dog sitter, and the kind of clients I call in are the kinds who live in mansions. So I'm not paying for that place, but I'm living in it. I'm experiencing it. And it's like a paid retreat. You know, I like a lot of alone time. And, you know, almost everything in my home was a gift or buy nothing or found. And so when I do spend cash, it's on something like, oh, I really needed that jacket and I got it at 75% off, you know, so I don't need as much cash. And yet I still get to like have this extraordinary, like, you know, so yeah, things are nice, but you don't have to pay so goddamn much money for them. And then sometimes you might have something, you're like, I'm done with this. Someone in my field probably needs it. Like, flow.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
gotta flow. Now you don't fill up your goddamn storage unit, your goddamn garage, and you like
Yeah.
fill your rooms, and people don't even realize that they're all kind of acting a little like hoarders and like child collectors. Not growing up past that point where
I know a lot of people who are compensating.
Or are they just still living as a teenager? Did I feel like a lot of current adults got arrested as a teenager, never moved past that.
So
I am the center of the universe and I know everything.
that's funny that you say that. So I taught middle school.
Oh,
And the first time I went, I taught every single grade up until 8th grade.
Oh wow, you have quite the range. That's awesome.
And the first time through, I taught middle school. I had this epiphany. I'm like, oh my God. Most everyone I see, that's like Arrested Development at middle school. And anytime there is any strong emotions or hurt, that's what we go to. That's how we react.
Right.
Like,
and we gotta handle it right this second because I'm really activated and I need to know the answer right now. Time pressure.
So that kind of blew my mind. I'm like, oh my God, it's just a bunch of middle schoolers in
It's
adult
age appropriate for a few years, and then you're supposed to learn how to. And nobody does, or many don't.
Well, part of it is this, right? Like, if you were talking about traditional society, which I don't want to glorify because I feel like there are some aspects of
everything that sucks.
Yes, that is uncomfortable, gender, frustrating, and access to modern medicine is really fucking awesome. In life savings, in like critical life situations, like
yep, there's
definitely
a place, but not every fucking
beneficiary
thing.
of that.
Me too.
So, I just want to frame it in that, but like this idea, it's like no fucking wonder teenage boys, especially teenage boys, were kicked out because they're insufferable and inappropriate,
right?
And they had to go out and learn by natural consequences why high risk taking, which was also necessary to expand, is also, you got to balance that shit out.
But did their risk taking behavior get to kind of an extreme level? Because at the
Well,
younger ages they didn't. Okay,
they didn't get to
right. But I think if they had learned at earlier ages age appropriate progression of emotional regulation and recognizing yourself, and kind of starting to learn what you need and things, then maybe they wouldn't be at that extreme level of risk taking.
Well, Mom, I have a friend who feels like what is one of the things that's missing to meet that energy of the early adolescent, that energy that wants to prove itself, that wants to take risks, that wants to be seen, that actually wants to contribute, but we've misplaced it, is rites of passage. So if they are shown and they are lifted, now you can hunt to provide for our family. Now you have to do this really big deal thing. You gotta go on your vision quest and fast, and you gotta
so lost.
build a boat and then take it around the island. I don't know, whatever it is, and then come back and celebrate it for the accomplishment. Then they're like seen, and all their energies are naturally channeled into this big overcoming of obstacles
and culmination of skills that they've learned throughout their life.
Exactly. Exactly. I think ceremony is hugely important.
I've
dedicated 2024. Every new moon, I hold ceremony. So this is the third one this year. Hopefully I can continue it. It's been really fruitful. I feel.
Is there a particular kind of ceremony you want to practice each time, or are you just intuitively?
Well, so far I've done it with one friend. We kind of committed to each other, and it's not the structure is very, very loose. The first one I felt naturally like I came over to her house, but I came with like a bundle of how to set space, and I like held it. I officiated it, and then the second one, like I felt like I could hold the container, and she was taking the lead with the words
So
and
taking turns.
But it's not like pre-planned out or
Right.
anything.
No,
it just
should be
happens.
intuitive.
Yeah.
It's meant to be intuitive.
So we have done that, and that feels really good. This is the first time we can do it on the actual day. We're gonna do it tomorrow. But it feels good to like enter liminal space, because I feel like it always our interaction, our two coming together, opens new possibilities that I walk away with something more than what I came with.
Right. Because so much of our thought process or alchemy or transcendence or just life experience is not meant to be independent of any other input. Like we're supposed to there's more comes from a sum, from multiple people getting together, because then it's you, what you're bringing and what she's bringing, and then there's this this creation in between that you can't plan. This energy in between. I love that you have this really intuitive and consistent and committed practice, because I'm willing to bet that you will be fucking blown away what your life will be like at the end of the year, even if this is the only thing you did. But I know you're doing more. But being this intentional and kind of really creating the actual literal space to practice this really beautiful.
And monthly feels like a really doable.
Yeah, why not? Totally. Yeah. Especially if your priorities are straight. It shouldn't be that hard to. So many people don't have fucking straight priorities.
Well, I think because I started perimenopause, I used to my cycle offered me that thing on a monthly basis, but I can't depend on that anymore. So I have to be really intentional about it because everything's loopy right now.
Interesting. Yeah.
Maybe I just need that connection.
See, you had to say it out loud. Are you going to say it out loud to yourself? So there needed to be someone out for you to say it out loud, so that you could, make that connection. That's what. Yeah, the web. Yeah. There might only be two of us sitting in this room right now, but also all of ourselves that came before and the other influences or.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely interested in
going outside.
I also smoke cannabis, so that's what I would actually start with.
Okay.
You're welcome to if you'd like.
I took a gummer earlier in the day, and I think once a day is enough for me. But
Cool.
Thank you.
And then we can enjoy those really beautiful little Damiana is the only one I could think of right now, but Blue Lotus. That's a Blue Lotus on the top. Anyway, so would you like to be? I have things that we can easily wear to kind of get bundled up, so that we can be comfortable in the rain. And okay, I don't like getting cold, so I'll make sure I don't get cold. All right, what do I want?
I've been taking really hot showers, and they keep me warmed up. Like they warm up my bones.
I kind of need to end with cold in order to feel warm when I get out.
Yeah. Too much of a wimp nowadays. Sometimes even that.
I think sometimes our nervous system or our body's not meant to take the cold. Like it's activating.
Yeah.
Instead of activating in the way that resets, it's activating in the way that it's adding to the dysregulation.
I often shower at night because I like to get into my bed. So like at night, I don't feel the need to do the cold rinse. But if I shower during the day,
that makes a lot of sense.
Because of the activating.
Right. And when I was really sick, there was no way I could have handle really cold water. Like it would have felt like needles,
Mm-hmm.
on every part of my skin. So yeah. But then there are times I'm like, I want cold plunge. I like alternating though. I'm more of a hydrotherapy person. Hot tub then cold pool, then hot tub then cold pool.
Yeah, I went to Hot Springs last weekend, and then we rolled and made snow angels.
Yay! Awesome. Did you go to Brighton Bush? Is that or just,
Belknap?
oh,
It's past Brighton Bush.
oh, okay. All right, I need another leg layer. Oh, what did I do with that thing? See, if you were the kind of person who kind of anticipated or expected to be like hosted, like taken care of, then yeah, that wouldn't have worked. But the kind I like, like, oh, I showed up. Let's see what happens. that's really. I mean, I don't know if you ever had this experience. I did not, but I hear that some people lived in areas where friends were nearby, and they would just sometimes come over and just knock on the door. Is so and so available at home to play?
Yep.
Like that's been lost. Yeah,
I do. I have a neighbor I'm like that with, right around the corner.
Swear. Yeah, it's good. Everybody should have at least one. I don't know. My home won't necessarily ever be the one where it's like, come one, come all, anytime. Like that's not really my vibe. But I I do trust in the like, well, if it happens, if something happens, it happens. If somebody thinks that we're doing something today and shows up, well, then they were meant to think we were doing something today. Okay, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna get. Do you like camp chairs or plastic chairs with something to push it in?
Whatever.
Okay.
I'm really easy.
And you close the door when you go.
Yeah.
There's a dog that knows we have garbage.
House dog.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see if I eat some bit. Well, that was fun. Okay. I think I'm going to keep letting this be like not on me, but open so I can say things out loud when I want. And I'm going to, Ivana and I just recorded a really lovely conversation. Let's see how long is it? How long is it? Oh, 40 minutes. We were out there a while. We went outside and sat in the rain. Had a really good talk. So, yeah, I'm going to go start uploading that. I am going to turn my brain off again because I just used it a lot. But it was super cool because, yeah, I've been wanting friends to come over, but without me having to like go through all the trouble of inviting them. And so she thought we were doing something today at our house, and we weren't. And so she almost went away. You're obviously here. You're obviously meant to be here. For some reason, you thought something was happening. So something's happening. Come on in. So we've been a couple of hours talking about cool stuff. So yeah, it was super nice. And a lot of new moon things. We talked about a lot of new moon things. This is, you can always pause it. Whoop, whoop, whoop. There we go. Nope, go this way. There we go. Anyway, yeah, pause it if you want to read that. But it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to turn back around and I'm going to turn my video on and I'm going to have some snacks and I'm going to eat some popcorn. And, or do I want to watch a wedding? Oh, I'll watch a wedding. I have a wedding to watch. Oh, fun. Okay, I'm going to watch a wedding. Let's see. Well, I'll leave this like this so it won't be It won't be on the wedding. Yeah, it'll be hard. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. Let's connect our computer to the wedding. Cause I got super amazing. I have 2 computers. It's pretty crazy to think about. That I saw my very first apple in 7th grade. That was in the 80s. That's a long time ago. And the first time I had my own computer, I was a grown-up. And now I have a whole bunch of them. And that's pretty fucking cool. And then I can connect a whole bunch of them all together with cords. Come on, where's my charge cord? Shit, so much to find. How hard is this gonna be? I really want to watch the wedding. Okay, I'm gonna try a little harder to find that cord. I have the privilege of 2 computers and 2 cords. I took it somewhere. Yeah. All right. I don't know where to put it. I guess I'm not meant to have. I'm not gonna have this on anymore. Okay. Oh, you know what? Okay, I see that drum right there? My friend Lindsay gave me that when she was moving to some other country and didn't have anywhere to put it. I like it a lot. And but it didn't have a banger stick. Where's my banger stick? Oh, I don't know. I should put somebody somewhere. Anyway, I didn't have a stick to hit it with. And so I told my friend Ivana I needed a stick to hit a drum with. And she said, you know what? I was just about ready to give one away. I have one right here. And I made it myself. It's not very pretty, but I made it. And I was like, I think it's the most beautiful thing I ever saw. I'd rather have one you made than some store-bought thing. So, yeah, that's how I got that cool drum. And my banger stick is somewhere. I don't remember where. I'll find it. I'm going to go watch a wedding. Okay. I talked a lot to her. It was fun though. Oh yeah, I'll eventually add the other conversation outside on here. I'll do it when I can.